Hi, my name is John, and this is my good buddy Andy, and you're listening to the Packers Blitz podcast, the podcast done by two diehard Packer fans who survived the dark times of the 1980s Packers football and lived to talk about it. This podcast is dedicated to the world's greatest fans, Packer fans. All right, Andy, take it away, buddy.
Ugh.
Yes, ugh. Here we go.
That's really all I have to say tonight. That's it. We're out of here.
Right.
Packers fans, everything.
Hey,
That's all we have to say tonight is ugh.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're going to start off tonight, John, with a brand new segment. And that brand new segment it's titled, John, Packers Blitz fans, Packer fans out there, football fans. It's titled Very Interesting.
Nice.
So like Ask Andy, that's another segment that John and I do quite often. This is a new section, brand new section of Packers Blitz that delves into the world of the NFL and how the Packers fit into that. Okay. And along the way, we'll discuss some very interesting facts to go with it. So that's basically kind of the theme of the section. John, did that sound good? Did you kind of understand what we're that's what we're doing.
Love it, yes.
So the first one, I call this very interesting 1.0. Yesterday, according to Jay Glazer from Fox Sports, he's kind of like that chubby dude that's bald.
Yeah, but
that's on the broadcasts all the time. He is, but he looks stocky.
He looks chubby. He's stocky.
I'm sure he is ripped. I don't want to see him with his clothes off.
You don't want to mess with him.
We're going to go on from there. But according to Jay Glazer, Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator Sean Desai, I believe that's how you pronounce it, was stripped of his duties in favor of Matt Patricia. The Eagles actually, John, are playing right now against the Seahawks in Seattle.
They're up 7-0, by the way.
So they actually have somebody else, calling the play calls for the defense, and that would be Matt Patricia. He actually used to be the Detroit Lions football coach, head coach, right?
Coach.
That too. And most recently with the New England Patriots. I think he was their offensive coordinator last year.
He was their offense.
And that went
offense.
Horribly. Horribly. Okay. So the Eagles had lost two straight games, just like the Packers, where the defense allowed a total of 75 points in those two games. The team, the Philadelphia Eagles, made a change. Isn't that enlightening, John? They made a change. Yeah.
Very interesting.
In one stretch during those two games, the Eagles allowed scores on 10 straight possessions, 9 touchdowns, and a field goal. That's a quote that I took from that article.
Yep.
So that's a direct quote from them. Don't want to get sued. Even against the Bills on November 26th, a game that the Eagles won 37-34 in overtime, their defense gave up 505 yards.
Woo!
Logically, the Eagles made a change. A leaked source said that Desai is still defensive coordinator. However, it's in name only. Desai is only observing, in quotes, the game today against the Seahawks from the press box, while Patricia will be on the sideline calling defensive plays. Probably with that pencil behind his ear.
Pencil behind his stupid hat, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Head on backwards or whatever he does.
Yeah, looks like a contractor measuring my cabinet. Like, shut up.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a really good analogy. That's perfect.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks for adding that. Now, Packers Blitz fans, football fans, The Eagles are 10-3, 10-3. Yet a well-run organization and an excellent head coach, Nick Sirianni, doesn't put up with ineptitude. Very interesting. The Packers' defense has sucked the entire year against the run. Let the New York Giants quarterback Tommy DeVito run all over them, and now let Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield throw all over the field against them. Yet, defensive coordinator Joe Barry is not held accountable. Head coach Matt LaFleur is not making a change. Maybe, just maybe, the Packers organization needs to take a play out of the playbook of a well-run organization like the Eagles and make a change. John, any comment on that? That's the first very interesting 1.0. We're about to go to 2.0. Any comment on what I just said?
Yeah, so really quick comment. I always use the clown horn there because Matt LaFleur is being a clown. But really quickly, so after the emotion set in after the game, and I was at work today, we had a Joe Barry watch when he was going to get fired. Whoever found out first will let everybody in the building know, who are Packer fans and stuff. And me and these two other people on my team who are huge Packer fans who listen to the show. One of the things is we just waited every day. We were looking at our phones and meetings and stuff like that. And then at the end of the day, someone used some colorful language to show that Joe Barry is still here. And everyone got mad and everybody flipped out. And it was funny. On my drive home, I'm listening to other people and they're explaining why it happened and whatever. Because remember, first thing is, we're not going to fix the defense in 3 games. Let's be honest, right? Are you going to fix the defense in 3 games? You're not. It's so bad against the rush and now against the pass for whatever reason. How do you fix that? Right? That's a tough one. Okay. But exactly what the Eagles said, exactly what you said with the Eagles, I said in my car. I was like, this must be some weird thing we got, Andy, being friends so long. So I thought to myself, why don't you do this? Joe Barry does his game plan for Carolina. By the way, we're going to make Bryce Young look like Steve Young. I'll guarantee you that. And anyway, why doesn't he do a game plan, right? Puts a game plan together. And then he goes to Matt LaFleur and says, here's my game plan. Okay. Matt LaFleur then gives it to the captains of the defense and says, hey guys, look through this game plan. What do you guys think? And everyone gets together and tries to figure it out. The other thing you could do is hire a consultant, a guy like Mike Zimmer's out there. There's some other coaches out there. I hate to say Rex Ryan, whatever. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. There's some defensive coaches out there who could be consultants, who could look through the game plan, and you could share the tape with them, and they could be like, at the end of the whatever, a couple of days and go, hey, this looks great. If these guys on the field still have to execute it, you should be fine. But I'm guaranteeing you right now that some consultant or whoever's looking at it would be like, why are you playing zone and using a linebacker to cover Chris Godwin? What in your crazy mind is Devondre Campbell being on Chris Godwin? Are you insane? And that was the thing. I watched today too at lunch. So like if you go to any social media sites, there's a million sites out there, and most of them were ripping Joe Barry's game plan. All of them were saying, this is like former quarterbacks, former defensive players, who are high level people looking at it and going, oh my God, like Kurt Warner was my favorite. Kurt Warner goes, I might come out of retirement just to play against Joe Barry. I was just like, Wow, that's a pretty harsh statement to say you want to come out of retirement because you feel you still can hit throws and you haven't played in 2 years or longer. Wow. So the whole thing is, I feel really quickly that Matt LaFleur sealed his fate when he rehired him. He could have said, you know what, things just didn't work out. And with Mike Pettin, same thing. Let him go, bring in some guy. But it's too late now. He has sealed his fate. Matt LaFleur knows that if they don't win the next 3 games and get into the playoffs, it's over. He's done. Because why would you keep him? Why would you keep a guy who doesn't do the right thing and say, okay, I'm not going to fire you, but we're going to do it this way, like the Eagles are doing? You don't, because he's I don't know. There's something going on there. I'm not a fly on the wall, but there's something definitely going on. So I don't, Andy, you want to add anything? We can get on.
Yeah, I mean, there's John, there's loyalty and then there's stupidity.
There's stupidity, right?
So,
yeah,
the Eagles made a statement. They're a well-run organization.
They're a well-run organization.
And supposedly the Packers are too. But the Eagles are going to the playoffs. They're going to be playing, 2, 3, maybe 4 games.
Probably
they make it to the Super Bowl. So you not only have the 3 games left in the regular season for them, but you also have several more. So it does actually make sense for them to say, that's enough. This is inept.
Yeah.
And we need a better option, a better voice. The Packers, as John just stated, we've only got 3 games left. There is still a good chance we're going to make the playoffs if we win the remaining 3 games. Does anybody think, with the roller coaster that we've been on, that that's going to happen? I will talk about it a little bit later on in the podcast. I've got some very good reasoning that we actually might win the last 3 games. And if that happens, we have a pretty good chance. It's above 500. I think it's between 60 and 70%, whatever it is, whatever we talked about last time. I'm not going to get into probability this podcast. We did enough of that last podcast. Let's just say we need to take care of our business for once and win every single game remaining. If we would have won the one last week, which of course we didn't, we lost it. We lost it, legitimately lost it. It wasn't can't blame anybody. We lost 34-20. Well, we played like crap, especially the defense. And so, now it is what it is. If we would have won last week and won the remaining 3 games, we're in the playoffs. As of now, we need a little bit of help, and we put ourselves in that situation. The other sad part is, John, we not only put the 49ers in last time that we had lost. This past week, we put the Cowboys in. The Powers suckadud. They sucked against the Bills. They were offense. Their offense stunk. Mike McCarthy stunk. And we put them in the playoffs after they lost.
I know.
Yeah.
Really quick thing. This is why I'm saying Al Harris for defensive coordinator. I said this a million times.
Yeah, it's true. The guy's out on the sideline. Yeah.
Yes. So you saw
sorry,
that.
I got you. Yes, I saw that.
No, that's great. That's great. So they're down like 24-7 or something like that. I can't remember. And Al Harris has all his defensive players around him, and he's just chewing them out. And he looks passionate. And I'm like, I'm like, we have to get him. Like, somebody, like, give me the money. I would drive down there tonight and be like, look, you're not going anywhere. You come with me and get in this car. Of course, I'll be arrested and go to jail, but it's worth it. That's what we need, right? That's what we need.
We need somebody to kick some butt, take no prisoners, right?
Exactly.
And we'll talk about that later. The thing is, logically, John, you don't have the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. Dan Quinn is up in the press box. So somebody has to be on the field being the voice and chewing somebody's butt out. So why can't it be Al Harris? and Harris had it looked like half the team around him.
Yeah, he had like half the damn team around.
Yes, and he was just it was intense. Let's just say that.
Yes, it was very intense. Yeah, go back and watch
good
that
to see.
if you can.
Yeah,
I love it.
So yeah, we're gonna move on to very interesting 2.0. Second thing. If the Bears hadn't choked away a lead in the Browns game and lost 20-17, Jen and I were texting back and forth. He's like, the Bears are going to win. And I was thinking to myself, no, it's the Bears. They're going to find a way.
Oh, man.
The Packers would have been tied with them at 6-8, but of course, it's the Bears. The Bears are now in last place in the NFC North because now they're 5-9 and we're 6-8. I watched the Bears game against Cleveland in Cleveland, even more than I watched the Packers game. I hate to admit, I was kind of going back and forth, but actually, I kind of enjoyed the other game better. And the Bears should have won that game. They blew it, just like they choked away a large lead at the end of the Lions game, Week 11. If anybody wants to look at that, it was Week 11 against the Lions, and they were up big time at the end of the game. We already talked about that on a previous podcast, but very interesting. The Bears are now in sole possession of last place at 5-9. They definitely should be 7-7 right now and in the playoff hunt. If they would have won those two games when they choked it away to the Lions and to the Browns, they would be 7-7. The point is this. Okay, I'm getting to it right now. The Bears have been playing better football the last 5 weeks than we have, the Packers have.
Damn right they have.
If not for those two losses, they would be 5-0 during that stretch. 5-0, everybody. The Bears are a better football team than the Packers, especially on defense. I'm telling you, I watched that game. They were creating turnovers. Flacco turned it over 3 times, 3 interceptions. And he should have had more than that. And he fumbles and all that kind of stuff. But they're a better football team than we are, especially on the defensive side lately. The Bears D again has been great, especially the last 3 games played with 10 sacks, 9 interceptions in 3 games, 9 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery, a touchdown, and a 14 points allowed per game.
Yeah,
they've only been giving up a couple touchdowns per game, so they've been doing really well. The Packers D, on the other hand, has given up 26 points per game, 8 sacks. They have 8 sacks the last 3 games, 1 interception, 3 fumble recoveries, and no touchdowns. Yes, Packer Blitz fans, it's not as if the Packers have been playing top 3 offensive juggernauts. They have not.
No.
No way. In a nutshell, the Bears are trending up and the Packers are trending down lately. And when I say that, John, it really hurts to say that. It really does, to my core. But it's the truth. It's the truth. So, John, any comment on that? So that was very interesting.
No, you're right on. You're right on. Yep, they have been playing better. And as much as we hate to say it, because we hate Bear fans and we hate the Bears, hey, props. They're playing better than us.
They are
on defense.
They are
on defense.
And then the last one, very interesting, 3.0. Yesterday marked the first time.
Oh my God!
In Lambeau Field history.
Oh my God!
That an opposing quarterback had a perfect quarterback rating of 158.3 at Lambeau Field again, everybody. First time in history. Congratulations, Tampa Bay Bucks quarterback Tom Brady.
No!
The GOAT.
Shut up!
Now remember, everybody, Tom Brady was the quarterback from 2020 to 2022. This, of course, is 2023. So not. Congratulations, 2023 Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield. Baker frickin' Mayfield completed 22 of 28 passes for 381 yards and 4 touchdowns. That means he had almost as many touchdowns as incompletions. And here's a quote. Mayfield became the third player in NFL
Jeez.
history, if you can believe this, the third player in
No.
NFL history with 375 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and a perfect passer rating. Only the third player in NFL history.
Oh my God.
By the way, Aaron Charles Rodgers had a perfect passer rating of 158.3 against the Raiders in 2019. So some people were thinking, oh, there had to be somebody else. Yes, there was, but he happened to be our quarterback, and that was
Thank
Aaron
God.
Rodgers. Thank you
My
very
boy.
much. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's awesome. Who else, right?
Right.
Right, but nobody else besides him and Baker Mayfield. Gosh, and you're actually I'm putting those two guys in the same sentence.
Are
It
you
shouldn't be.
kidding me?
Exactly. So very interesting with an exclamation point. Here are some other interesting facts. These are facts about yesterday's history-making performance by Baker Mayfield at Lambeau Field. Just listen to this. And this proves our point about Joe Barry, by the way. Listen very closely, everybody. Listen. Mayfield's 13.6 yards per attempt was more than 2 yards better than any other visiting passer ever. 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 He needed only 3 quarters to set his season high in passing yards. After completing less than 50% of his passes in back-to-back games, Mayfield completed 78.6% against Green Bay. Now, here's a doozy. With the Browns in 2021 and the Rams in 2022, he threw a total of 333 yards and 5 interceptions the last 2 years. Did Joe Barry not game plan? Did Joe Barry look at the game film from the previous 2 weeks? Did Joe Barry look at Baker Mayfield's horrific tendencies to turn the ball over his entire career?
Yeah.
Fire Joe Barry.
Not
Triple
happening.
exclamation point. Why not?
Not happening.
Why not? Well, according to Matt LaFleur, in quotes, this is a quote from him, because it's not the time. I'm trying to find solutions, and I've got to go back and look at the film. End quote. Well, I've got news for you, Matt LaFleur. I know one current defensive coordinator in the NFL who is not looking at film. John, any comment on that?
We kind of already commented on it.
Yep.
I think here's the other thing I want to add. This is the other thing I want to add. And people, I want you to understand this, Packer Blitz fans and Packer fans. If we fire Matt LaFleur, he will get a job in a hot second. Okay? He's not going to be out of work long. Somebody will hire him. He has his pick of offensive coordinator, believe it or not. I guarantee you he'll have a job. Snap your fingers, he has a job. Head coach might take a little bit longer. But Joe Barry, do you think anyone in their right mind would hire Joe Barry, Andy? Think about that. Would anyone hire him? Anybody?
Nobody in their right mind would. No.
Nobody in their right mind would.
Nope.
You made Baker when I was watching the game, you made Baker Mayfield, who's been, by the way, with 3 teams in I think 5 years, 4 teams. I don't care. A lot.
He's a journeyman. He's a journeyman now.
He's a journeyman quarterback at best.
Yes.
At best. When I was watching this game, I was thinking, wait a minute, am I like watching college football? Because this is what he did in college. This is what the scout saw in college when he was like at Oklahoma.
Yep.
He would have games where you'd be like, wow, some great games against like Alabama, Florida State, some other teams, top teams, okay? But that's college. This is the pros. And he basically made us look like a college team, which, again, You can't be serious. You can't be looking at the film and going, "Oh, okay, I get it." And here's the other thing, and maybe you'll mention this later, Andy. He said today that in his why he kept Joe Barry on. He said, "Well, looks like there was just some poor communication on the field." I'm like, "What?
You
Poor
think?
communication? Who's in
More than
charge
that.
of that? Joe Barry. Are you insane?" So there's
Yeah.
he's he's I don't know, he's writing his ticket out of Green Bay and okay, we'll see. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, John, we
that's
got
it
a
for me.
segment at the very end where I'm gonna
Yeah, we
rant
go there.
for a
Yeah,
little
we go.
while, and it's called
Okay.
right at the end of the conclusion, "Listen up, LaFleur." And so
All right.
hopefully Matt LaFleur will listen to this podcast. And if he does,
We'll
uh
send it to him.
yeah, just send it go right to the end and then listen up, LaFleur, because I'm about to
Yeah,
tell you what needs to happen. And
yeah. Love it.
so yeah, look forward to that.
All right. Game recap.
Yeah, so we lost
Why? But okay.
34-20 to Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you got to give Baker credit. He had a fantastic game. So, I mean, great job,
Well,
But
yeah.
was it because of his football skill or was it because of our ineptitude on defense?
I think,
Yeah,
yeah.
so let's do some quick takeaways because we aren't going to go like into every single score and all that kind of stuff. If somebody wants to look at the
No.
box score, just go for it. Get on your
Yeah,
phone, look
absolutely.
at it.
Yep,
But I'm going to give you some
absolutely.
quick takeaways that actually make sense. So I'm going to go through these things. It's going to tie in with other teams in the league and whatnot. And I think it's going to be interesting for everybody, hopefully. But here's some quick takeaways. Number one, the Packers haven't looked like a football team that wants to go to the playoffs, especially the last two games. The Buffalo Bills, who were 6-6 just like us 2 weeks ago, have gone on a heater and beat two really good football teams. The Chiefs in Kansas City, which is tough to do, by the way, and the Cowboys in Buffalo. And the Cowboys were playing great the last couple of weeks. So
number one offense.
remember 2 weeks ago before the New York Giants game when the Packers were also 6-6?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Remember back when?
Yeah.
The difference with the Bills was that its head coach, Sean McDermott, did some major soul searching and changed the direction of his team. He fired the offensive coordinator, outright fired him, and put in a different guy. Wow, John.
Yep.
He fired the offensive coordinator. He then reinvigorated his Bills defense, that he called the plays for. He calls the plays for them every single game and kicked Dallas's butt yesterday.
He sure did.
They absolutely kicked their butt.
Yeah.
So, Packers fans, football fans, the Buffalo Bills now sit at 8-6 and in position to potentially win their division over the likes of the Miami Dolphins and or make the playoffs. So they're in a good position. They got a really easy schedule the rest of the way. If they win their remaining 3 games, they're probably going to be in. So congratulations to them. They're 8-6. We're not. The Packers, however, again, are now 6-8 and in a dire position where they have to win out to realistically have a chance to make the playoffs. Unlike Coach McDermott, Matt LaFleur needed to make some tough decisions a long time ago. LaFleur's wait-and-see approach was wrong in 2022, and it continues to be wrong in 2023. John, a comment on that?
No, we already talked about it. I think he's riding his way out of here, and maybe that's what he wants. I don't know.
So, quick takeaway number 2 from the game. The Packers have regressed back to what they were in October. They have.
Yeah.
They really have. Young receivers are running the same routes. For example, Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed ran the same route on a third down play. If anybody didn't notice, everybody should have, because they were in the wrong spot.
They noticed.
They noticed. Yeah, the announcers noticed. Everybody noticed.
Everybody noticed.
Yeah, Joe Barry keeps failing to put players in a position to succeed. We already talked about that. According to Wendell Ferreira, and we've used him before, of A to Z Sports, this is a quote from him. Everybody knows that Eric Stokes is not a great zone defender, and that's how he got beat by Mike Evans in the first touchdown of the game, and how he allowed some significant gains for the Bucs offense a couple of times. The defense, and I added this, especially Eric Stokes, is not able to overcome a poor coaching job, though. End quote. John, any comment on that?
Well, I will give Eric Stokes one little break, because remember, he came back and then he pulled a hamstring on special teams, I think against, I can't remember who it was against. So he has really played one game in almost 2 years. So I don't know about you or me, but if I was out for 2 years and trying to play NFL football, I'm probably going to struggle. But that's coaching, right? You're absolutely right. That is coaching.
Why start him?
Why is he out there? Why is he out there? Right?
Why was he playing the entire game?
Why?
Put him in here and there. Get him more acclimated back in. But he looked bad. He looked bad.
Horrible. Yeah. And he was out of everything. He just didn't look like he knew what he was doing. And he looked like, which is funny.
Lost.
And we'll talk about this.
Wandering around the field aimlessly.
He was. And
that has to do with preparation. That has to do with the coaching staff.
That has to do with
preparation, not all on him.
But also enough to know that this guy has been out so long that maybe if it's like third, and by the way, there were like a 2nd and 29 that the Tampa Bay Bucs made it 3rd and 18. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So that I'm not justifying with Eric Stokes, but I'm giving him a little bit of a pass. Next week he doesn't have no pass. He's a full week again. He's got to sit his ass down, study film, get in there, put in some extra hours. Hey, if that's what you got to do, buddy, that's what you got to do.
But my point is, John, it's a crucial game. I mean, they needed to win that game. They have to win the rest of them. And in a crucial game like that, you don't do that. You don't put him in that situation. He's going to fail. You're putting him in a situation where you're
right. Yeah, you're setting him up for failure.
Setting him up for failure. Yes, thank you. So the third takeaway I wanted to give everybody about the game: the Packers did not stop any of Tampa Bay's top playmakers on offense. John and I pointed out that you have future Hall of Fame wide receiver Mike Evans, running back Rashad White, and he's probably going to be all pro this year. He's had an excellent year. You really have.
Very excellent year.
And former Pro Bowler wide receiver Chris Godwin. Even Godwin, and we really didn't talk about him a whole lot last podcast, but even Godwin, who has had a subpar season so far, went nuclear with 10 receptions for 155 yards. On top of it all, you made Baker Mayfield look like the second coming of Aaron Rodgers, who was unstoppable at Lambeau. Rodgers was unstoppable at Lambeau. He's great at Lambeau. And you made him look like Baker Mayfield or Baker Mayfield looked like him. Yeah, okay. The Packers did just enough on offense to win. Jaden Reed was Jaden Reed. Jay Love played well enough throughout the game. 29 to 39, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Aaron Jones was back. However, the Packers
However,
starting D was still in New Jersey. New Jersey.
Jazzy.
And decided not to travel back to Wisconsin with the rest of the team. The whole team will be booking plane tickets and vacations for January and February if they don't start showing up on Sunday. Period.
Yeah.
John, any comment on that?
No, good stuff, buddy.
Okay.
Good stuff.
So we've got, not to be negative the entire podcast.
Yeah, we're not trying to be, folks.
We're not trying to
be.
But we are going to talk about some falling stars. You know how I like astronomy, but we talked about some supernovas and some black holes. But there were 3 falling stars. We already talked a little bit about them. But the number 1 falling star that I've got was inside linebacker Devondre Campbell.
Yeah, and I'll take issue with this. Issue with this. Go on.
Okay.
No, go on with your
No fault of Devondre, but Joe Barry had Campbell covering Chris Godwin, just like John had said, out of the slot all day. That didn't go well. Campbell then needed to probably be benched. Period. And so I'm not talking bench for every single play, but they had to go get into some other defense where they were using more defensive backs, I would guess. And he could not cover Chris Godwin. He just couldn't. No. And it was really sad to see. It was. He was also one of the guys that blew the coverage during the New York Giants game too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Against Wandale Robinson at the end of the game, where he's like running free across the middle and actually had a chance to intercept that ball if he was in the right position where he should have been. If he was in the right position,
yeah,
correct. So, but yeah, if you take offense to it, John, go right ahead. Devondre is a great
I don't take offense at it.
But
I think this is what should have happened because Mike Pettin used to do this, and I don't. What is going on? So Mike Pettin used to take Preston Smith and drop him back in coverage against the running back. And I was like, huh? And all the guy would do, the quarterback, whoever we were playing, as soon as Preston Smith dropped back in coverage, the quarterback would come out of the pocket and then he would hit some big play or throw it over Preston Smith and have the running back go running literally free. And I'm like, when they asked Preston Smith, why are you out in coverage? And he just looked at the reporters and said, ask Mike Pettin how to ask him. You can tell like he's like, yeah, why am I in coverage? So I don't understand why Devondre Campbell didn't come to, and maybe he did, and come to whoever on the sidelines and say, why am I in coverage? I'm getting killed out there. And, hopefully somebody would have been like, oh, yeah, shoot. Yeah, you're right. But
at that point, you might as well just blitz him every single down.
Then you might as well blitz him every down, right?
Find an opening, find a crack, and hit it.
Something else. Say,
do a delayed blitz where you look like you're covering Godwin, then bam. Right.
And if you're going to do that, here's just a really stupid idea. I can be stupid too, like Joe Barry. Why don't you take Lucas Van Ness and put him out there? He's like 6'7". Good speed. Put him out there.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna screw up royally. Lucas Van Ness on his ass, and you'd get the same damn, maybe worse, but you get the same damn answer, and the same damn thing would have happened.
Yep.
So I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and Devondre, when he was in the slot, he should have been. I know he was in zone coverage, but he needed to just go up there and just smack him in the mouth a couple times, knock him off his route.
Yeah,
because on those type of plays, that's all timing.
Right,
you got to disrupt timing.
Right.
So at some point, Devondre should have said, "Okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to smack Chris Godwin every chance I get."
Yeah. Absolutely. Take the 5 yards.
Or within 5 yards, you're fine.
or within 5 yards, you're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
you're fine.
Come up and give him a shoulder,
Smack
right?
him
Give him a
in the mouth.
shoulder, right? Right.
Right.
Smack him one. So
Yes.
when he's coming to that, he's gonna go in the huddle and he's gonna go, "Hey, Baker, don't throw it to me." Because Devondre Campbell, when I run in the middle in the slot, he's smacking me in the mouth.
Yeah.
That will
Speaking
get
of
old
that,
in a hurry,
yeah, I was
right?
watching the
Ah,
Eagles game to start this tonight because we came on a little bit
yeah,
later than usual. And one of the
yeah.
offensive linemen for the Eagles had his face mask ripped off of his helmet.
Ooh,
Absolutely ripped
whoa,
off. So he had to go
damn.
out for a play. They had to get him a brand new helmet because somebody ripped the whole thing off. It was just hanging on
Holy
by a thread. So that's
yikes.
what we needed to happen to Chris
We've talked
Godwin.
about that, right? Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
Okay.
Take
Yeah. Little hands to the face or something.
little
Whatever.
hands to the
Make
face is
Godwin
okay.
think
Little
that
hands
he's
to the
not going to
face.
get off the line of
Yeah, you're
scrimmage
not gonna
with
yeah,
free reign to do whatever he wants.
absolutely.
After like
Absolutely.
the 8th or ninth catch,
Yeah, come on.
they should have been doing that a long time ago. He had 10
Long time ago.
catches on the day.
I'm gonna be physical
Right.
with you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, the second
Okay.
falling star we already
Yeah.
talked about was cornerback
Talk
Eric
about your dog.
Stokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd only played a few games all year. John said that.
Yeah, we can
You
yeah.
start him right away and you let him play the entire game. That made no sense. And he
Yeah.
got scorched all day.
Starts out.
Just got scorched. The
Yeah.
third falling star
Mhm.
is wide receiver
Man, that
Romeo
sucks.
Dobbs. And I
know.
have to say something on this. He had
Yeah, I
3
got you.
catches on 3
Mhm.
targets, fine for 30
Mhm.
yards. So he made all of his catches. Considering, though, he is in his second year, he should not be outplayed by any of these Packers wide receivers,
Absolutely.
not
Mhm.
named Christian Watson. That I can understand.
Yeah.
He has been outplayed by the rookies this year. He has. He has
Yes.
played in every game this year and started every game. Yet he has 52 receptions for 567 yards, and that is okay.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I'm sorry,
He's
he's one of
got
your
much more.
starters, and
Yeah.
that ain't good enough. All I'm
Yeah.
going to say,
He
especially with Christian Watson being out so much, we really
yeah.
needed him to step up. He does have 7 touchdowns on the year.
Yeah.
So again, he's
Right, I
produced that
gotcha.
way. So that's great job, Romeo. But
Yeah.
I think, if just me
So
expecting a little bit more than that. So I'm just going to
he
say,
reminds me of a guy that unless you're a true Packer fan, and Andy, I don't know if you'll remember this guy at all. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, a guy named Derek Mays. Does that ring a bell at all? Probably not.
no, it
Okay,
doesn't.
so Derek Mays was the prototypical receiver that we needed. We got him in the 3rd, 4th round, something
Oh, is
like
that the one
that.
that got hurt?
Correct,
Okay, I just
correct.
stole your thunder. Sorry. I think I
No, 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 no.
remember now.
No, so he would have games because he's prototypical 6'3, 225, 4.4 speed. I think he was out of Notre Dame. We can look that up later. It's not a big deal. Anyway, he would have games. He played with mostly Brett Favre near the end of his career. And he'd have games where you're like, oh, okay, wow, all right. And he'd be opposite of Donald Driver. And he just when Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings were coming in, but then he just didn't have the juice. It was just like Romeo Dobbs. It's just, yeah, he had some touchdowns, and yeah, he had pretty good catches, and yeah, he did this. But as soon as Greg Jennings and Jordy Nelson came in, he was done, gone. See ya. Never heard from him again. And I'm worried Romeo Dobbs is going to fall under that because we have to get another receiver again, unfortunately, because Christian Watson is a
Injury
liability,
prone.
at best.
Yeah,
Romeo Dobbs, we just talked about. So that means you got the Dontavian Wicks.
that's right. We have 3 rising stars, don't we,
Yeah,
John?
we
One
do.
of them. Yep.
We need a guy, right? We need
Yes.
the
A
guy. And
stud.
we thought
A
Christian
number 1
Watson
wide
was going to
receiver.
be that,
You need
right?
a
We thought
number 1
Christian
and a
Watson
number
was going to
2.
do that.
Jaden
We
Reed
don't
might
have
be a number 2, maybe.
Jaden Reed.
I hope.
He's worrying
fantastic.
me. He's amazing, but if you watch during the game, what happened, Andy?
Got hurt.
He got hit in the ribs, and he went to the sideline grabbing his ribs. Then he came out. Then he's hopping on one leg, hurt his ankle. I'm like, oh my God, is this guy the second coming of Christian Watson? He's gonna be hurt all the time. But
I don't think he had
went
a
out
single
there.
running play for him either, unlike
Nope.
last
Nope.
game or previous game. So there must have been something else going on that they didn't even give him a run because they were using. Well, it could have been because they had Jones back, Aaron Jones back.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
So let's go into 3 rising stars because that goes right into it.
Yeah, and so we already talked about Dontavian Wicks. He had 6 receptions for 97 yards. He didn't do too well against the Giants, but he had done well the last several games. So I just wanted to give a shout out to him. He's actually my Packers Blitz player of the game, Dontavian Wicks, on offense at least. Tucker Kraft, 4 receptions, 57 yards, and a touchdown. Playing really well. Thank you, Tucker, for stepping up. That 3rd round curse, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, that's gone. We don't have a 3rd round curse. He's been doing awesome.
My God.
And then Jaden Reed, he had 6 receptions, just like Dontavian did, for 52 yards and a touchdown. So again, Jaden stepped up. So 3 Packers rising stars. So again, I've got for my Packers Blitz player of the game on offense, Dontavian Wicks. That's basically because we recognized Tucker Kraft and Jaden Reed last week. And, so I really think that Dontavian Wicks should be our Packers Blitz player of the game this week. So recognize him a little bit. On defense, I've got Jonathan Owens. Got a couple guys. Jonathan Owens, he had 11 tackles. At least somebody had some. He led the team in tackles, John. 11 of them. So got to give
crazy.
I know. So he had done that a few games ago where I think he had 12 in one game. And then Kenny Clark, defensive tackle Kenny Clark, had a couple sacks. He's got 6.5 sacks on the year, which actually for him is quite a bit. That actually might be the most he's ever had or close to it. And he had 1 pass defense. So he must have knocked a pass down or did something in coverage. So, he led the team in sacks that game. They did sack Baker Mayfield 5 times, but it didn't really affect the outcome of the game, though.
No.
And so Kenny Clark again had a couple sacks, and he has been stepping up. And I know I bash him a little bit, but he has been playing pretty well. So I just wanted to recognize him. So that's who I've got, John. Who do you have for?
So I was going to say Tucker Kraft again, but you're right. Okay. We already praised him. So I'm going to go with Wicks. You're absolutely right. I think he's done an amazing job. And then Jonathan Owens, absolutely. Kenny Clark. But I want to say something. Where are you, Rashawn Gary?
Yeah, he had 1 tackle. That was it.
Where have you gone, Rashawn Gary?
Yeah.
Please tell me. Please. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Just fade away.
Did you see, by the way, did you see the picture of Rashawn Gary after the game? He's just sitting on the bench all alone, just like staring straight ahead, like a little kid who lost the championship football game.
Okay.
He's just sitting there by himself.
Yeah.
Just staring at straight ahead, just like, what happened? What's going on? And he is our MVP still.
He is
still our MVP. I don't care what people say.
Yeah, he's a difference maker.
He bleeds green and gold.
Game wrecker. Yeah.
He bleeds green and gold. All right. So let's do Ask Andy.
Baby, you looking hot tonight.
So question 1.
We really need some theme music, John. We really need some theme music because
I'm going to work on that in the holidays here. I'm going to put something together for you, buddy.
Okay.
All right. So Ask Andy. So Andy, we needed a new defensive coordinator. We already say about that. Come on. For 40 minutes, Anyway. Andy, what would be some of your ideal traits or qualities that you would like to see in the new Packers defensive coordinator?
We really need a defensive coordinator, John. I will agree with you on that.
Yeah.
My ideal prototypical defensive coordinator would be extremely aggressive. He is extremely aggressive. Blitz, blitz, and more blitzes. Hit the quarterback and often. My ideal defensive coordinator teaches smart fundamentals, good technique, set the edge, stay in your run lanes, tackle the right way, get the ball carrier on the ground, no missed tackles. So he teaches smart fundamentals. He is tough and hard-nosed. Like the line from the immortal Rodney Dangerfield movie from Rodney Dangerfield in the 1986 movie Back to School. And this is a quote from Rodney. I love this. I don't take shit from no one.
Yeah.
So I want somebody that is tough and hard-nosed. I love that movie, John. Everybody, you need, especially people in Wisconsin. That was partially filmed at UW-Madison.
Filmed at University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Right, and everybody needs to see that movie. It's a great movie, really, really funny. Also very touching about a relationship between his father and his son. A little bit messed up, but it's a great movie. And Rodney Dangerfield is great in it. There's a whole bunch of great Robert Downey Jr. is even in it. I believe.
Yes, a young Robert Downey.
Yes, correct. Okay. And then I want the Packers to hire somebody, someone like D'Amico Ryans, who is now head coach of the Houston Texans and a former defensive coordinator himself and a defensive guru. With his starting quarterback and his 2 starting wide receivers out, he found a way to will his team to a 19-16 victory over the Tennessee Titans. By the way, the Titans had just beat the Miami Dolphins on Monday night. The Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
His Texans defense held the Titans to 66 yards, John, rushing, and 204 total yards. And that's what I'm talking about, John. Running back Derrick Henry, it's Derrick frickin' Henry, had 16 rushing attempts for 9 yards.
Wow.
9 yards. He didn't even average 1 yard a carry.
Wow.
The Texans sacked the quarterback, John, 7 times. That's what I want. A defensive coordinator that can stop the run and pressure the quarterback relentlessly. So that's who I want. Somebody like a D'Amico Ryans. Of course, he's not available. He's coaching the Texans right now. But does that answer that question? Hopefully.
Yeah, yes, it does.
That's what I'm looking for. John, do you have anything to add? Any qualities that you might like? Or
no, I've already told you. I want Al Harris as the fire. I mean, he looks fired up. He does it. Yeah, right. Yeah. He's out there when they're losing to the Bills, getting crushed, and he's out there pointing to each man and saying, "Man up and get out there." And when everyone could quit, you could quit. You're like, "Well, we're done. We're never going to win this game, so I'm just going to quit." And he's like in their face. So I would love that, and I would like Lex Luthor look-alike Robert Saleh, because he's gonna get fired from the Jets. You can't keep him.
Probably.
He's had 2 losing seasons. The whole organization is a mess. Aaron Rodgers, my boy, if he comes back next year, God bless him. But you're walking into a tiger's den, or lion's den, I should say. And I don't know, man. You might as well take the money and run. But anyway, next question.
Yeah, the next 2 questions actually are from my oldest son, Zach.
Yay! So I'll read those.
So he added these in for us in Ask Andy. So
all right, Zach. Have the Packers ever had a great defensive coordinator, and will they again? We'll get another one in the future. So 2 back-to-back defensive coordinator questions.
Yes, they've had a great defensive coordinator. Fritz Schirmer was awesome. Yes, he was the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator from 1994 to 1998. He was the winning defensive coordinator in Super Bowl 31, following the 1996 season. Very interesting. Fritz Schirmer was the author of several books about defense, including a book titled Coaching Team Defense from 1989. So, coaching
Give that one to
team
Joe
defense.
Barry.
He actually wrote several books. That was just one of them I cited. So, an article from the New York Times on August 31st, 1999. Unfortunately, Fritz died on August 30th. So, on August 31st of 1999, remembered his legacy and was titled Fritz Schirmer, 67, a coach of innovative NFL defenses. End quote. What else is there to say? Rest in peace, Fritz. Packers Nation loves you. I strongly believe that if the Packers front office does their due diligence, then they will be able to get somebody like a guy like Fritz Schirmer, hire a defensive guru, a savant, somebody like Fritz sometime in my lifetime. At my present rate of decline, that means in the next 20 to 30 years. So that's my answer to that question, Zach, in Ask Andy. So John, you want to add anything on that, or we're going to move on to question number 3?
Move on to question
That's
3.
from Zach as well. And it was pretty simple.
Here we go. We've been going to this question constantly.
Right.
It's been up and down.
Yeah, he
will
asked
the Packers
it,
make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Will the Packers make the playoffs?
Yes. I am hopeful they will make the playoffs. They will beat the Panthers this weekend. They already lost to the Vikings this year at Lambeau. However, we normally split the 2 games against them. Packers win that game at US Bank Stadium then. And then in the last game of the season, right at the end, the Packers play the Bears at Lambeau. That's the one I'm worried about. If we had Rodgers, then we would win that game. If J-Love is anything like Rodgers, then we will win that game as well, because usually we sweep the Bears. And Rodgers sweeps the Bears, right? Yeah. Then the Packers end the season above 500 at 9-8 and make the playoffs. Barely. So I think, yes, they definitely can make the playoffs. I'm worried about that last game, though. So they could end up exactly like they were last year, John, lose the last game of the season and miss the playoffs and be 8-9. It's a distinct possibility. I hate to say it. When have they strung together 3 games? Not too often. We did it to go from 3-6 to 6-6. So they have to do it again. Yep, they had this little lull the last 2 games. They got to come back. So, John, you want to take part 5?
Yes, I'm going to take part 5. Okay. So you can do the conclusion and rest your voice a little bit.
Sounds good.
So here we go, folks. Week 16, the 6-8 Packers versus the 2-12 Panthers. It's on Sunday, Christmas Eve at noon. I know Christmas on Monday is screwed up, but whatever. Oh boy, here we go again. Packers by 4.5. By the way, we were 3.5 favorites last week. Over under 36.5 points. I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, the Carolina Panthers, listen to me, folks, and this is true. They're the worst team in the NFL.
Yes.
They're horrible. Now, New England Patriots are close, but they played the Chiefs pretty well on Sunday. They didn't, they still lost, but they still played the Chiefs pretty damn well.
Yep.
The Arizona Cardinals, they are bad too. Both records are 3-11 with but here's the thing. Cardinals at least look like they're trying, and they're just not that good because they have no quarterback. They have really no offensive line and going on and down the line. So Bryce Young, by the way, I just wanted to say something I said earlier. If we make Bryce Young look like Steve Young, and if you know who Steve Young is, Packer Blitz fans, Packer fans, you should know him because he was the thorn in our side when we used to play the 49ers constantly, it seemed like, in the NFL divisional playoffs. So Bryce Young was the number one pick in the 2023 draft. He's from Alabama, by the way. You think he would have a better passer rating. It's okay. It's 72.2. He only has a 59 completion rate, 9 TDs and 9 interceptions. He is not good. He has absolutely no offensive weapons except for Adam Thielen. Yes, that Adam Thielen, that pain in the neck,
right?
Who used to just piss us off when we played Minnesota. We'd be like 3rd and 12. Here comes Adam Thielen. Kirk Cousins hits him for first down, and you're like, how did the hell that guy get open? But here's the thing. They do have a running back. Oh, boy. Chuba.
Chuba, I think, but it's weird.
Chuba, whatever. I'm calling Chuba. I don't care.
Yeah.
741 rushing yards, 4 TDs, 3.9. He will look like freaking Barry Sanders out there.
Yeah.
If we keep playing the way we have. He does have 32 catches, 109 yards receiving. So again, not bad. It's pretty average, but he's still a threat. Adam Thielen already talked about. He has 89 receptions, 870 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He's just a pain in the neck. He's like a mosquito and a fly buzzing around you. He's a good player. I shouldn't pick on him that much.
John, I will add, Adam Thielen was great. Absolutely great. One of the top 3 wide receivers in the early part of the year, the first, maybe 4 or 5 games. But after that, he has not been good. He's been kind of slowly tapering off. That's what happens with older wide receivers as the season goes on anyway.
Yeah,
but really good stats.
Look out. You can't. I'm begging you, Joe Barry. I'm begging you do not put Devondre Campbell and Adam Thielen. If he's in that slot, if you do that, I swear to God, I'm driving to Carolina and kicking your ass. Okay, so
fair enough.
The Packers offense. Oh, excuse me. The Panthers. This sounds like us. The Panthers offense. Excuse me. Is 29th in scoring at 14.7 points per game. If you watch the Atlanta Carolina game, God bless you, because I wouldn't have made it. That was a horrible game between 2 horrible teams. And they, I don't know. Anyway, they're 30th in yards per game, 29th in passing yards per game, 17th in rushing per game. Oh boy, here we go. And what would the Panthers excel, and this is insane to me, is time of possession. They rank 6th.
Yes.
So in other words, they don't score a lot of points.
Nope.
They do okay with rushing. They're middle of the pack.
Yep.
But they keep the ball really long.
Yes.
So explain that. They can't score, but they keep the ball long. So, okay. I don't know what to say about that one.
It's like keep away.
Crazy. Yeah, it's like keep away.
Yep.
And that's what you can do to the Packers because, anyway. Linebacker Frankie Lavu has 104 tackles and 4.5 sacks. Okay. Outside linebacker Brian Burns. I like him. I wanted the Packers to get him in a trade. That never happened, obviously. He has 6 sacks. He's a good player. You got to look out for him. Defensive tackle Derek Brown has 79 tackles. He has an interception too. Interesting.
Yeah, he does.
Oh boy, the Panthers. This is setting us up so bad.
Yeah.
The Panthers D is 32nd, dead last in sacks.
Yep.
29th in points allowed per game. So this is all the recipe. Before I get into Packers stuff, all the recipe for Jordan Love to go off, right? To have 4 touchdowns. Aaron Jones have his first 100-yard rushing game since like week 1 or whatever the hell he had it, or close to it, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. How are we going to win this? And here's the problem. Okay, Jordan Love should have plenty of time to throw the ball downfield, okay? Okay, so that's your first thing. Problem is, Jordan Love, as we know, Packer Blitz fans, and Andy and I watch the games.
Yeah.
Getting that ball downfield could be problems. And Carolina around this time has weird weather. In the Atlanta Carolina game, it was a downpour of rain. And when I say downpour, it's a downpour. I mean, it's in the South and they just get crazy amounts of rain.
Yep.
So the Packers offense should score some points. Absolutely. This is a game where Jordan Love should throw for over 300 yards, have a great quarterback rating, 4 touchdowns easily. But here's the thing. The Packers defense needs to stop the Panthers ground game because that's what they're going to do to win the time of possession. And guess who can't stop the ground game? Yeah.
Us.
So, yeah, look at our stats. We've been through it a million times. It's insane. So, like the immortal words of Al Davis of the Oakland Raiders. It's so weird. Not Las Vegas Raiders when the Oakland Raiders were in Oakland.
Raiders, yeah.
Al Davis, just win, baby. Yeah,
exactly.
That's all we have to do. I agree.
And that's what the Packers are going to do. I've been this is 5 weeks in a row I've been wrong, so I'm right at 500 now. But I'm picking the Packers to win. I mean, the Panthers are 2-12. Come on. If we're going to win any game, we better win this one. And so I got the Packers winning 26-17.
So,
John, you've been shying away from making a prediction, but
I just can't.
Okay, it's fine.
But this is what I'm going to say. This is what's going to happen. Just because I've been watching football since I've been a little shaver, knee high to a cricket. Here's what's going to happen, Andy. I'll guarantee you.
Okay.
The Panthers will take the ball down and they will score, and they will have be up by like 5 points or something like that in the fourth quarter. Then what's going to happen is the Packers will win. They will score a touchdown and win by I'd say 2-3 points, whatever. It doesn't matter. And the only reason we're going to do that is because there's going to be some stupid penalty called by these stinking refs that's going to give us a break. And Andy and I will be on, I guarantee you this, Andy and I will be on the next week's show and say, well, we got lucky. There'll be a roughing the passer. There'll be a holding because they're a bad team. They will do something stupid in order to get us a first down, and then we will score. We will go ahead and then win it by the seat of our pants or whatever you want to say. And Andy and I will be like, what? We should have won this 31-17, 26-17, but we won it 23-21. You mark my words. So that's all I have to say. Let's get to part 6, wrapping up here. Andy, LaFleur, hey, let's give him a call. Let's see if we can get him on here so you listen to this.
Yeah, no kidding.
Go ahead.
So here's another classic line from Thornton Mellon, played by Rodney Dangerfield in the movie Back to School. And again, everybody should watch this movie. Again, it's about a earthly self-made man, Rodney Dangerfield, that joins his son at college. It's really funny and it's really, really good. So here's a quote from Rodney Dangerfield, Thornton Mellon, in the awesome movie Back to School. Here we go. Hold it. That's it. I can't take no more. I feel like I just gave birth to an accountant. I don't take shit from no one, end quote. And that's a great line from the comedy John Thornton Mellon and in Back to School, the movie. So that leads me into listen up, LaFleur. Okay. Well, before John and I leave tonight, we have something to say to Matt LaFleur. Listen up, Matt. Listen up. The glorious Green Bay Packers football team's playoff hopes are hanging in the balance. Do something. Make a change on defense. What are you waiting for? Just like in 2022, the Packers had a chance to make the playoffs and blew it. You blew it, LaFleur. Change. Listen up, LaFleur. Otherwise, 2023 is going to end the same way that 2022 ended up, with the Packers with zero chance of winning the Super Bowl. The storied Packers franchise is about winning. The storied Packers football franchise is all about winning Super Bowls. You have to win all 3 remaining games to be in the NFC playoffs. Listen up, LaFleur. Look at yourself in the mirror and make a change. John, that's my listen up, LaFleur. Got anything to add on that one?
I love it. Yes. Again, I just think LaFleur. Remember when we said he's kind of not drowning, but he's kind of over his head, right? Remember we were saying that in some of the episodes here. If you go back and listen to some of the episodes when they were 3-6, Andy and I were saying, well, okay, they got injuries, they got stupid Joe Barry, but he just seems over his head. And then when he got out of it, and when Andy and I were excited about when they were going and they the 6-6, we're like, okay, maybe he's getting it. This looks really good. It's from the first game. Okay. But for some strange reason, LaFleur, after his, and again, look at this, it's on social media, cameras are everywhere. After the game was over, they had a close up on LaFleur's face. And usually the coaches will be like, they're kind of, if they win or lose, whatever. And he just stood there like vexed. And that's a good word, right, Andy? Vexed. So vexed is mean if you're confused, if you're like, I guess basically you just don't really understand what's going on. You're kind of like, you're mad, but you're also confused. And that's the way he looked. So I'm like, you're right, LaFleur. Hey, buddy, you got everything's in the past now. You have 3 games to win. 1 game at home against the Bears. You have 1 game against one of the worst football teams in the NFL. And then you got your heated rival against, on that, I think it's Sunday night again. Oh my God. The heated rival to play a 3rd string quarterback, and God help us, because we know 3rd string quarterbacks and Joe Barry's defense, but you have to do something. Otherwise, you're out. And, like I said, you'll get a job. That's fine, but you'll regret it. You will regret leaving Green Bay and putting us in this mess. You will regret it, because wherever you go and wherever you are, people will always let you know how bad you screwed up. So again, that's where Packer fans, were very understanding, very nice fans. But when you start to mess with us, that is not a good thing. You do not mess with the bull, because you get the horns, and that's where Packer fans will come at you.
Yeah, that's, John, it's the mounting losses. It's the listening to LaFleur's press conferences and him speaking.
Excuses.
And that's why I used the line from Back to School. It's like, that's it. I can't take it no more.
Right.
That's why I feel like I just gave birth. And, so it's just like, it's just one of those situations where it's getting very, very frustrating, because it's kind of like the same thing, the same broken record, right? Over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And again, you may be loyal, but don't be stupid.
Yeah, you can't be stupid.
Can't be stupid about things. And so at some point, you got to make a change, and you got to move on.
Make a change. Yep.
And again, LaFleur's got to do some things also on offense to create plays and make things happen. And that ain't happening either. So, we need to win these next 3 games. So you got to, this is where he's either going to shine, or he's going to
be out the door,
land, fall flat on his face, but one of the 2.
And we will be
so listen to us, Matt.
Listen up. Get it to you, buddy.
Yeah.
So speaking of moving on, Andy and I want to say Merry Christmas and a happy holidays to you. We will not be back on Monday. Why we won't be back on Monday? Because it's Christmas. And Andy and I obviously will be with family, and you should be too. This is one night a year. Just get with your family and put everything behind you and have some fun. Then you can be pissed at them over New Year's and don't show up and go get drunk somewhere. But be safe. So anyway, again, rate us 5 stars, like and subscribe, listen to us on YouTube. Please send questions for Andy. I'm asking again. It is packersblitz80@gmail.com. I will put the email in our show notes so you can click on it and send Andy a question. Again, make it a good question. If you're frustrated, that's fine. That Andy will definitely answer that, and we will definitely answer that question. But also remember too, when you're listening to us, if you have any comments you want to put in, to Spotify or wherever you listen to us, that'd be great. So, Andy, another great show, and go Pack Go.
And Merry Christmas to everybody. You too, John.
Yeah,
Go
buddy.
Pack
I will talk
Go.
to you later. Go
Talk to you
Pack
later.
Go. Love you.